And I want to go now to the Democratic Congressman from New York, Tom Suozzi. He's on the House Homeland Security Committee. He won the special election to replace Congressman George Santos in large part because of his focus on border security, which you were incredibly focused on, Congressman Suozzi. So you heard David Culver's report, and I don't know if you could see the return, but it is incredibly powerful to look at the wall and see the markings where the ladders are thrown up, where the barbed wire is pulled back. The context here, Congressman, we've got a new Axios poll tonight that finds 42% of Latino adults in America support a wall or a fence on the U.S.-Mexico border. And that is not just maybe larger than many listening may expect. It is also up 12 points in the past 3 years. Should President Biden be hearing this as a blaring wake-up call?
Absolutely. This is a problem that the American people are concerned about. And I've always said that the best elected official, the best politician, is the one who says what the people are thinking already. And the people of the United States of America, whether they're Republicans, Independents, or Democrats, are concerned about the border. They're concerned about what they see on your show tonight, what they see as chaos. And, you know, a wall's not going to solve it by itself, but listen, make it part of the solution. Let's get a bipartisan solution like the Senate bill that was negotiated by James Lankford, one of the most honest, ethical, conservative Republicans in the Senate, along with Senator Chris Murphy and Senator Kirsten Gillibrand, Sinema. Let's use that bipartisan compromise and let's push it forward.
Well, part of the reason that this is hitting such a chord, there are many reasons, but is also the fear of the unknown. What is coming across the border? Okay. And the former National Intelligence Director, James Clapper, I recently had a conversation with him, Congressman. He told me that he's, quote, very concerned about terrorists exploiting the southern border. He said it was, in his words, a serious national security concern. In that context, today, the FBI Director, Chris Wray, warned about his growing concern, and I want to use his words directly, about the potential for a coordinated attack here in the homeland akin to the ISIS-K attack we saw at the Russia concert hall. Now, in that concert hall, the Crocus, 144 people were killed. What more do you know about Chris Wray's warning?
I know that people are concerned. People are worried. That uncertainty of what's going to happen because of this open border is making people worried. And we have to recognize that, you know, people said to me during my campaign and even now, oh, the border, that's a Republican issue. No, it's not. It's an American issue, and we must address it. Now, the president has started addressing it much more. He talked about it in the beginning of his administration. Now he's talking about it more, and I'm hoping he'll take some unilateral action, and we can force a bipartisan compromise, because we had a deal on the table that was endorsed by the Wall Street Journal, the U.S. Chamber of Commerce, even the Border Patrol Union president, who's a big Trumper, endorsed the deal. And President Trump swooped in and said, oh, I don't want to give Biden a victory. I want to run on the chaos. Well, that's unacceptable. Let's make a deal. Let's actually address this very real problem.
All right, you just, as I mentioned, obviously your House Homeland Security, you did also just return from Ukraine. And so I'm sure that what we heard today from the American General Chris Cavoli, who happens to be the head of the U.S. European Command and the Supreme Allied Commander of NATO, stood out to you. I mean, it stopped me in my tracks. He said, Russia's military, again, I want to quote him directly, has grown back to what they were before the war began. I mean, that is incredible, Congressman. We've been, hearing about the decimation of the military, their inability to provide for it, their inability to mobilize, mass death of Russians on the front lines. And now we're hearing they're back to the way they were before the war began. Congressman, it's shocking. I mean, this seems to be proof, at least, of the inefficacy, perhaps even the failure of U.S. sanctions, to say the very least.
The sanctions have to be enforced more strongly, but we need to recognize Russia is conscripting more soldiers. They're building more weapons plants. Ukraine has done a fantastic job fighting back, but right now they're running out of ammunition, and we need to help them. As you heard the Japanese Prime Minister say today, this is important for all democracies throughout the world. And I was happily surprised to see how much bipartisan support there was for the Prime Minister of Japan's comments about the need to fund Ukraine and to support Ukraine. That support is in the United States Congress. We need Speaker Johnson to put it on the floor, stop letting Marjorie Taylor Greene and the other extremists block him. Let's get this on the floor. I promise it will pass.
All right. Well, Congressman Suozzi, I very much appreciate your time.